In this week's Comfy and Cozy Ensemble, we're going to be working with exfoliants in our soap today. Hello, hi, welcome back, and if you're brand spanking new to this channel, welcome. My name is Brendan, and I am the co-owner of what we do in our little studio. Going right on into today's video, you can probably see we have the familiar items lined up ready to go. And yes, we are making a soap today. We're doing one of our spring line ones that I didn't do in the previous week just because this one's going to be a little bit different. And this one's going to have the use of an exfoliant in it. And if you're new to soaping and you're asking yourself, what is an exfoliant? Well, it's a great product to have that's in your soap. Essentially, it can be anything that's going to cause a little bit of a textured surface that'll help scrub the skin from any dead skin cells, leaving the new skin underneath to kind of push through and have that healthy glow. So it's really good for changing of the seasons, winter time with dry skin, especially if you're in the colder climates, summer when it's really dry. Honestly, it's a good around proper item to have on your line at all times, whether it be a different one or not. So going into the exfoliant side of things, you can use a lot of items that you really want. Cranberry seeds is a good one. Same with strawberry, poppy seeds. Let's see what else there is. There's lavender petals, which I try to avoid because they look really awkward to me, especially in a soap. Rose petals as well, which if you watched our video a couple weeks ago with our spring soaps, you would have heard that we used to put rose petals in our rose mint soap. And we stopped that because the rose petals ended up turning black, which wasn't an appealing look in my eyes for what the soap was. To wrap it out, you can also use pieces of natural loofah, sea sponge. There are several items that you can use as an exfoliant. And the one that we're using today is going to be poppy seeds. So in this little container, we have our poppy seeds ready to go. If I tip it over anymore, I'm really afraid they're just going to pour out. But poppy seeds, they're lightweight, they float, they go down the drain. There's not going to be any blockage happening. We used to do this with a lime and black pepper soap, and it was one of our hottest selling soaps that we had. The unfortunate thing is the black pepper was super expensive, so she's on the sideline right now. But we are implementing our poppy seed exfoliant into our springtime soap. So the one that we're making today, we always called it Citrus Mellow. It's been off the line for about 2 years. We're bringing it back to see how it does in this town. And it is a pink grapefruit and sweet orange. So we have our fragrances right down there of what we're going to be using. And I really just kind of want to add the poppy seeds to one color of it. So you can see our Fizz Fairy already down there ready to go as well. And we have everything else ready to go. So we'll jump into the whole little ingredients list as we go on, but we're just essentially going to go right in on it. That was a fun little jumble of words that I just did. But to go right on into our ingredients today, we are using an avocado butter with a coconut oil. We have our little bit of stearic acid, 1 teaspoon to a tablespoon if you're feeling saucy. We have our avocado oil. There's not much left in this one. I just have to open a new bottle for it, so that'll be that. And then we have our castor oil, and then we have canola oil down below ready to go. And of course, because we're doing an exfoliating video, our exfoliant, which I've already said is poppy seeds, our fragrances, and our colors ready to go. So with this one being done, I already have my lye water off to the side. I'm going to pop this baby in and let it melt down. We're going right fast into the making portion of this because I feel like I really want to implement and showcase the cut of this soap with fingers crossed that it's going to be a good cut. So without further ado, I'm going to glove up, but I'm going to pop this baby in first, and I will see you when it's melted to add the rest of our liquids. Okay, this baby is ready to go for the next portion. I'm just going to turn on the scale. Now that we have everything melted down from the first portion of it, we are going to be adding in our liquids. I just do this after this has melted straight into the same little bucket because for me, this is a personal taste. It helps bring down the temperature of what's in here already, so the soaping is a lot easier. It's creamier. Everyone is different with how they soap. Everyone has their own preferences of what they like to do. This one is just mine. The beauty with this, and I say this in a lot of videos, is this is your soap. This is your way to do it. Everyone has their own way. There is no right or wrong way. There is a wrong way because you don't get soap. But as long as you get to the same end goal of a bar of soap, just have fun with it. It's fun. This is your soap. It's your way. And from that pep talk, I'm going to go right on into measuring out everything we need to. I have my gloves on for safety and just because I don't like if my hands feel oily. Also, too, these are going to customers. I don't want to be handling them with my hands on their own. So glove up. When you are doing your water and lye, mask up for safety. Wear goggles. I cannot stress that part enough. We did have a lot of people in our earlier videos mention that to us to remain safe. I've never had that many people look out for me safety-wise, especially in the film industry, but that's the best part. From castor oil, we're moving into avocado oil. I don't know how much I'm going to have in here. Definitely not enough, that's for sure, but I did just want to use the last of it just so we can move on to the next one. So I'm going to go ahead, pop open the new one, get it poured in, but that's our next step of liquids anyway. Finally, our comically large oil that we are using. We are using canola oil just for the sake of budget saving. Things are getting fairly expensive out there, so we are trying to keep the cost of our soap down and the cost of it to customers, so that is why we are using this. It still gives a great lather, still good for the skin, and yeah, we are a small company doing our best to stay small and affordable. Snap it right to everything being done. All of our oils are in here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch up so you can see our mixing process. With everything in here, we add the lye water, so I'm going to go get a mask. I'm going to put on some safety goggles. You're going to get to see the beautiful view of the soapification process. So if you are new to this channel, soapification is the catalyst, so it is what causes the soap process. The oils mixed with the lye causes the chemical change to happen, and that's how you get your soap. So we will get that going. You'll get to watch it change its beautiful colors. We'll split up the colors as well. I'll have it at the same angle. And then you'll see this nice mug when we are about to pour and go into our exfoliant and everything else for it. Okay, before we actually go over there, I know I'm tricking everyone as always. I did have to pour the fragrance because I forgot to pour it while everything else was melting down. So this one is just sweet orange and pink grapefruit, both from Voyager. It's about a 50-50 mix for us, and honestly, this is probably the freshest, zestiest scent that we have on our line. I loved it from the get-go. Towards the end of our time in BC, people really didn't like it. They only loved it, surprisingly, in fall. But we're going to launch this as a spring one for us to see how it does here anyway. So now we're going to switch it up so you can see the soapification process. Okay, with this process, I will be pouring the lye water in. I will be doing a hand blender to it. And then afterwards, I will be separating it into these buckets that I'm shamefully not putting on screen because my depth perception is off today. But I will be splitting the batch between the two jars, adding in my colorants, and then I will be adding in our exfoliant. I will somewhat explain the step process as we go on through. For now, though, it is just going to be mixing, so there will be no voiceover. You just get to enjoy the process. Lye water poured in, hand blender going. So with this, our water is a 2-to-1 ratio that we use for the lye water. It just gives us a lot more working time for it. Normally, I would go in, see if there were any streaks of oils to be had. So I know that this is now soapified. Everything's going to be a cure from here on out. If you want to do a 1.15 ratio, it will set up a bit faster. For me, I like my working time, especially because it doesn't induce anxiety when I have to pour stuff. Okay, I'm going to try to come around and do a nice even pour of each. I'm still figuring out the measurements of these buckets to let me know what one is good and what is halfway. If I want to do 3 colors, 2 colors, the measurements for that. Math is not my strongest suit. Making things look pretty is. That's why I enjoy the swirl portion of this. Now, because I already have a fairly pale soap on the line with one of our spring ones, I'm not going to make this one a pale orange. So instead, I'm using Orange Sherbet Mica from Fizz Fairy. There is no endorsement here. We just love their stuff. I want this to be a super strong orange color. I want it to be bold, vibrant. It is the pink that I want faded, so we're using the First Crush from Fizz Fairy, and I'm only going to do a little bit, just because I know these colors can somewhat be the same looking if it happens, if they cure. It's happened before with us, so I want to make sure this is going to be noticeable. So we're going to go ahead, mix it up again. Okay, we're going to bring it over to the table for the good stuff now. Okay, now realistically, I want to do a pour and a pour and a pour and a pour, but I also want it to be different, so I'm only adding in our poppy seeds into 1/2 of this, and I'm adding it into our pink side of it because for me, I just think of grapefruit and I think of grapefruit seeds, and I know this is nothing even similar to it, but that is just how my creative mind is thinking right now. And I want it to be a very exfoliating bar, but I don't want it to be too powerful either. So I've probably added in about 50 grams of poppy seeds for this one. And then I might also just take it to the blender real fast, quickly again, because as you can see, this baby is fairly liquidy, and I would prefer a creamier pour. We'll just see what happens. This is the art of the fun of it, though. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do a 50/50 mix for the scent. And for the most part, I know this scent actually behaves really, really well. Unless they changed the formula in the last couple of years, I don't think it would have been that drastic. But this scent does behave so well. You have a lot of working time with it, so we might have a fairly liquid pour batter soap. Which, it happens. It is very much okay. I'm actually going to wait a couple of seconds, let it set up a little bit, get a little bit creamier before I do the initial pour for everyone. All right, and I think we're going to bite the bullet and just go with a super creamy, mixed up, lathered bar of soap. So I'll do our general half pour. And of course we are, if you've been watching the videos, we are using our Winston & Walter molds. Why? Because we love them as a company. They are amazing to deal with, not only Canadian, super supportive of other small makers out there too. And they are just probably the best loving group of people that you can actually meet who want to see success for everyone that they deal with. Okay, round 2 of our grapefruit batter. It is starting to thicken up. That is what I want. We're going to go ahead, get most of it out and in there. I'll save a little bit for the top because why not? We'll get this going. I want some orange to remain on the top, so I'm just going to go ahead, pass by the camera with the bucket. Apologies for that one. Angles are fun to work with. Okay, I'm going to do a scrape out just to see what we can get out of here because you don't want any soap to go to waste. So we'll just get that going, split it up. I'm going to move on over to our pink seedy portion now. Once again, I'm so sorry for the camera angle with how I'm pouring with the bucket right in everyone's way. We will get better over time. Is that a promise? I sure hope so. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead, do a couple big swirls going through. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fairly random bar of soap as is. Why not make it more random, right? Okay, I also realized I should have saved some pink in the bucket to get swirls like that because I'm loving that side of it. I'm just going to take what I got and do super random patterns. I'm not going for anything in particular at this point. I just love the idea how random that looks. So will it match? No, but I'm still going to have fun with it. And from there, we're going to go ahead, let it cure a bit, cover it up. We're going to clean up this fun little mess around the edges. And we will be back for the reveal and the cut. And with some editing magic, it's 24 hours later. And if you've watched my videos and me soaping, it's not really been 24 hours later. It's honestly probably been about 22, so close enough for me. We're unmolding this baby. So I've already taken the liberty and removed it from the wooden mold. So this is just one of the older Winston & Walters that we use, and it has a little bit of give with our silicone, so it's easier to unmold these bars of soap. So this one, we just wanted to do it like as fast as we can, one and done. And I'll always open up the silicone flaps just to let the air kind of get in a little bit. It also helps with the removal of the soap no matter what. We just pop out the ends from here, do a little stretch on each side, and I always showcase it mostly in a lot of our videos is that this is just such an easy mold to unmold. You just got to make sure there's a little bit of air that you can kind of sneak in. So that's why I pull off the sides like that, is so air can get to the underneath of it. And then it's just a nice, gentle pull. Patience is key. There have been times, I will say, where I have been so impatient with the soap setting up that I may have pulled off parts of the bottom of the soap. It does happen. But you just got to be patient. All right, here we are. We have our loaf out, ready to go. And that means it's time for cutting. So we'll get this baby set up. We will switch it around and we will show you a good couple cuts from this. Okay, so full disclosure, I already cut off one piece of the front of the soap. And I also cut off an extra piece just so we can showcase it on social media. But we got some good swirls going on in here. So I will say these white little dots is the titanium dioxide. So that's just to make the pink a lot lighter than what we did. So you saw that when we were mixing colors. Sometimes this does happen. It is okay. It's part of the process. These things will normally go on. But we have nice clean lines. I'll show up another one. And I really just wanted it to stay in the pink portion of the soap. And so far it's doing that. Sure, we have a couple little runaways, but I like the contrast between it. Let's get rid of that side to do that side, just to showcase it. Pink with the poppy seed, orange kind of blank. This is a beautiful soap so far. We're going to keep on cutting it, and we'll see you once we get all the bars and how many we get. And then once it sets up more, I will get the sides down a little bit. But with that being said, I'm very happy with how this turned out. If you want to play with exfoliants, play away with whatever you can. A lot of fruit seeds are really good for this as long as they're smaller. Like I said before, cranberry seeds, strawberry seeds are a good one. I just wanted to do poppy seeds to have like a super contrast to the light pink and orange for it, just to make it stand out from our other bars of soap. But without further ado, we are at the end of this week's video. So if you like what you see, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We are getting better with our scheduling, and we always have our recipes and behind the scenes on our Patreon as well. This one, of course, will be on there with our little exfoliant mixtures and then substitutes if you want as well. just if you need refreshers. And until next time, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you soon. Bye.